They said 2026 would be the golden year for senior cruising, but insiders are whispering the opposite. Hidden fees, new health documentation, and loyalty perks quietly disappearing are already catching retirees off guard. Imagine boarding your dream Caribbean voyage, only to be told you can't sail because your medical form expired last week. These aren't rumors, they're verified updates across Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian. So today, we're breaking down 10 shocking 2026 cruise updates every senior traveler must know. Stay to the end, because update number 7 even shocks loyal Platinum members. 1 Medical clearance gets stricter. Here's the shocker. In 2026, cruise lines are tightening medical clearance for anyone over 65, even veteran cruisers. Most passengers think their old doctor's note or insurance file from last year still works. But the truth is, those forms are now outdated under new maritime health guidelines. Just last month, a retired couple from Florida was turned away from a transatlantic Royal Caribbean cruise. They had their tickets, their luggage, even priority boarding, but their medical certificate was 45 days old. The new rule: it must be dated within 30 days of sailing and uploaded before embarkation. No exceptions. Cruise lines are trying to limit liability for onboard medical incidents. That means you are now responsible for proving you're fit to travel. Miss the update, and you're standing on the pier watching your ship sail away without you. Not all cruise lines use the same form. Norwegian and Carnival both require separate, line-specific versions. Most passengers don't realize this until check-in chaos hits. Schedule your doctor visit 2 to 3 weeks before departure, and upload your updated medical certificate directly into your cruise portal. Bring a printed copy to the pier. That single sheet of paper could be the difference between boarding your dream cruise or losing thousands before it begins. 2. Insurance requirements changing. Most cruisers think their old travel insurance still covers them, but starting in 2026, every major cruise line, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, even Princess is enforcing mandatory medical evacuation coverage for travelers over 65. This isn't a suggestion, it's a boarding requirement. A retired couple from Texas showed up at Port Canaveral for their 10-day Caribbean cruise on the Carnival celebration. Bags packed, boarding passes ready. But when staff checked their insurance documents, the couple was missing a single clause: maritime evacuation coverage. They weren't allowed to board. To make matters worse, their only option was to buy Carnival's cruise-approved plan on the spot, nearly $420 extra. So why the sudden change? Cruise lines are tightening policies after a string of expensive medical evacuations at sea. If you're a senior cruiser, this matters big time. Without compliant insurance, your trip can end before it starts, and you might lose your entire fare. Before you make your final payment, call your insurance provider and ask one specific question: does my plan include medical evacuation and repatriation for cruises? You'll want coverage of at least $75,000 USD, and 2 printed copies of the policy. One for check-in, one for your cabin safe. Because in 2026, the right paperwork is your new boarding pass. 3 loyalty perks being rewritten. Here's something most veteran cruisers, Dan TC, coming. 2026 is bringing the biggest loyalty program shakeup in over a decade, and longtime passengers, especially seniors, are the ones losing the most. You've spent years building those points, sailing every season, reaching platinum or diamond status. But the cruise lines are quietly redrawing the lines, literally. Take Royal Caribbean's Crown and Anchor Society. Starting mid-2026, they're removing early boarding and preferred check-in from mid-tier members. Carnival's VIFP program is next. Gold-level guests will lose free laundry and cocktail party invites. Norwegian's Latitude's rewards. They're downgrading complimentary internet minutes and replacing them with credit-based perks. Translation: you'll have to spend money to earn back what used to be free. A retired couple from Ohio 222 cruises under their belt. Noticed their priority boarding vanished from their confirmation email. Guest services explained: your tier no longer includes that benefit under the 2026 update. Imagine discovering that at the port, with 3,000 passengers ahead of you. For senior cruisers who value comfort and predictability, these perks aren't just nice to-haves. They read the difference between a relaxing start and a stressful day one experience. Log into your loyalty dashboard today and screenshot every benefit before these changes roll out. If something disappears, bring proof on board. Most cruise lines will still honor pre-update entitlements if you can show documentation. In 2026, loyalty still counts, but only if you can prove it. For cabin accessibility redefined, here's the part nobody's talking about. In 2026, cruise lines are redesigning their cabins, and it's not necessarily good news for senior travelers. The new International Maritime Accessibility Codes sound positive on paper, but the reality is this. Ships are cutting down the number of fully accessible cabins in favor of new flex layouts that look good in brochures but don't truly serve passengers with mobility challenges. On MSC's World America, for example, the redesign reduced wheelchair-accessible cabins by nearly 12%. Those cabins were replaced with convertible rooms that can be modified, but only if you request it months ahead, and even then, the modifications aren't always complete. A senior traveler with a walker boards the ship expecting a roll-in shower, only to find a 3-inch threshold, or outlets placed too far from the bed to reach their CPAP machine. Crew try to help, but the ship's design simply doesn't allow adjustments once sailing begins. These new ships are bigger, but that doesn't mean they're more senior-friendly. If you wait until the last minute to book, you will likely end up in a standard cabin, far from elevators which can turn every hallway into a marathon. Always book accessible cabins at least 6 months in advance and confirm details directly with the cruise line, not through a third-party agent. Ask specific questions: bed height, bathroom threshold, grab bars, and outlet placement, because in 2026, accessible doesn't always mean accessible to you. 5. Onboard medical fees, increasing here. As a new cruise, shocker, onboard medical costs are quietly skyrocketing, and most seniors won't find out until it's too late. Up until now, most medical visits on ships cost between $85 and $120 for a simple consultation, but starting in 2026, many cruise lines are adding new maritime health service fees, and they're not covered by Medicare or most travel insurance. The base consultation fee alone can reach $250, and that's before a doctor even examines you. One senior couple on the Norwegian Encore recently shared that they were charged a $250 evaluation fee, plus $160 for a medication refill. Total cost, over $400 for what used to be a routine onboard visit. Multiply that by a 14-day cruise, and suddenly a minor medical issue can become a major budget problem. Cruise medical centers are considered international clinics. That means your U.S. Medicare doesn't apply, and even some premium travel insurance plans exclude at-sea medical care. Cruise lines are shifting these costs to passengers to offset their own rising healthcare expenses. If you're a senior with regular prescriptions or chronic conditions, even a basic visit can hit your wallet hard. Pack a comprehensive travel medical kit with all your essential medications, plus a few over-the-counter standbys: pain relief, antacids, motion sickness, allergy meds. Ask your doctor for a medical summary letter detailing your prescriptions and conditions. It'll speed up any onboard consultation and help you avoid duplicate tests or charges. Because in 2026, prevention isn't just health advice, it's financial survival. 6. Buffet sanitation and senior priority here. S1 change that will surprise almost everyone. The cruise buffet, that longtime favorite for senior cruisers, is being completely restructured for 2026. Most passengers think the buffet will always be help yourself, but the truth is, cruise lines are phasing out true self-service. Carnival, S new Smart Serve program, and Royal Caribbean S Safe Dining initiative are quietly replacing traditional buffets with staffed stations only. It sounds hygienic, right? And it is. But here's the catch. During peak hours, seniors with limited mobility are finding themselves waiting in long lines while crews serve hundreds of guests one by one. On Carnival's Mardi Gras, lunchtime waits at the buffet recently stretched past 30 minutes, leaving many elderly passengers frustrated and skipping meals altogether. Cruise lines say it's for health and efficiency, but the change also lets them reduce food waste and control portions, which, let's be honest, saves them money. If you rely on buffet flexibility for dietary or timing reasons, this new system can make mealtime a struggle. Arrive within the first 20 minutes of buffet opening when lines are short, or ask guest services to add mobility priority to your account. Many lines quietly offer it if you request it early. And when possible, try specialty dining for lunch. It's calmer, faster, and often just as affordable with pre-cruise packages. Because in 2026, the buffet isn't gone, but the freedom to use it like before is. 7. Hidden fuel and sustainability fees. This one hits where it hurts your wallet. Cruise lines are quietly adding new green and eco-fuel surcharges in 2026, and most seniors won't notice them until final payment. Most passengers assume their cruise fare covers everything: cabin, meals, and taxes. But the truth is, there's now a fourth category: environmental operations. Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and MSC have all started testing eco-operation fees, ranging from $7 to $12 per person, per day. A retired couple from California booked a Caribbean itinerary in 2025 for $1,899 each. When they reviewed their final invoice in 2026, they were stunned to see a $126 fuel and sustainability adjustment. When they called guest services, they were told the surcharge reflected new maritime compliance costs. Now, no one's against cleaner oceans, but these fees often appear after you've booked, making them impossible to avoid. Some lines even exclude them from onboard credit coverage, meaning you pay cash or credit at checkout. For retirees on fixed budgets, these small daily surcharges can quietly inflate your total cost by hundreds. Before making final payment, open your invoice and search for fuel, eco, or environmental. If you spot those terms, call the cruise line and request the pre-surcharge fare guarantee. Some will honor your original $2025. Rate if you booked early. Because in 2026, the ocean isn't the only thing going green. Your cruise bill is too. 8 mobility scooter restrictions, expanding here, SA 2026 update that could ruin a cruise before it begins. Mobility scooters, a lifeline for many senior travelers, are now under stricter regulations than ever before. Most cruisers assume that if their scooter fits through the cabin door, they're good to go. But the truth is, battery type now matters just as much as size. Maritime authorities have rolled out new fire safety standards limiting certain lithium-ion batteries, the same kind found in many popular scooter models. This became a major issue in late 2025 when a 72-year-old passenger boarding the Princess Discovery in Fort Lauderdale was denied embarkation. The reason? Her scooter used a non-removable lithium battery, which the cruise line's 2026 safety update had just banned. The passenger was left scrambling to rent an approved unit on the pier for $65 a day, an unexpected $455 for the week. Cruise ships have had several small onboard battery fires in recent years, and now they're enforcing strict compliance. Some lines, like Norwegian and MSC, also limit scooters that can be stored or charged inside the cabin, meaning your unit could be confiscated if it is deemed unsafe in hallways. Before your cruise, check your scooter's battery documentation. If it's lithium-ion, make sure it's removable and you uncertified for air or sea travel. If not, contact the cruise line early. Most now partner with vendors like Scootaround or Special Needs at Sea, who can deliver compliance scooters directly to your cabin. Because in 2026, mobility freedom depends on the fine print, not just the wheels. 9. Shore excursion age limits quietly added. This one's flying completely under the radar. In 2026, more ports are adding age-based restrictions to popular shore excursions, and most senior cruisers won't find out until the morning of the tour. Most passengers assume once they've booked an excursion, they're guaranteed to go. But the truth is, many destinations are tightening local insurance laws that limit physical risk activities for older travelers. Ziplining, snorkeling, ATV tours, even catamaran sails, all now have stricter fitness verification for guests over 68 or 70. Here's a real story. A retired couple on a Caribbean cruise booked a zipline adventure in Cozumel through the ship's own excursion desk. They paid in full, received their tickets, and showed up ready for fun. But when they arrived, local operators refused them entry without a doctor's note confirming cardiovascular fitness. The cruise line offered a refund, but no alternative excursion, leaving them stranded at the pier for the day. Age-based rules aren't standardized. Some ports in the Caribbean cap certain tours at 70, while in the Mediterranean, others require waivers starting at 65. These policies are coming from local vendors, not the cruise lines, meaning even if your ship sells it, you might still get turned away. Before your cruise, check each excursion's fine print for the phrases medical waiver required or age restriction applies. Contact the local operator directly if possible, or choose small group or private tours. They're often more flexible, safer, and tailored for senior guests. Because in 2026, it's not your sense of adventure being tested, it's your paperwork. 10. Drink package and dining rules. Overhauled, here's a change that's catching even loyal cruisers off guard. In 2026, cruise lines are quietly rewriting the rules around drink and dining packages, and the fine print is where it stings. For years, seniors loved prepaying for all-inclusive beverage and specialty dining packages. It simplified the onboard experience and helped control costs. But starting in 2026, cruise lines like Norwegian, MSC, and Royal Caribbean are shifting to new smart pricing systems that tie these perks to voyage length and loyalty tier. You might not even qualify to buy them anymore. Here's what's happening in real time. Norwegian now limits unlimited drink package pre-purchases to sailings of 5 nights or longer. Shorter, 3 or 4 day itineraries, no package option at all, you'll pay a la carte. Meanwhile, Royal Caribbean is testing dynamic beverage pricing, meaning drink prices fluctuate daily based on demand, similar to airline fares. One retired couple sailing from Miami discovered their pre-purchased dining package didn't apply to embarkation day. The policy had quietly changed a week before sailing. When they complained, guest services simply said, the new terms took effect January 1, 2026. What you thought was an all-inclusive cruise could suddenly become a nickel-and-dime experience. Always book through a certified cruise travel agent. They can lock in legacy 2025 package rates and verify inclusions before final payment. And when you get your eDocs print, every confirmation email. If onboard systems glitch, paper-proof is your best defense. Because in 2026, dining and drinks aren't just perks, they re-premium traps waiting to reset your budget. So, there you have it, the 10 shocking 2026 cruise updates every senior traveler needs to know before stepping on board. From medical forms to hidden fuel surcharges, from buffet overhauls to loyalty perk cuts, these aren't rumors. They're already rolling out across Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, and MSC fleets right now. If you've been cruising for decades, this next era will feel different. Rules are tightening, fees are multiplying, And what used to be automatic early boarding, doctor access, drink packages now demands preparation. But here's the good news. When you stay informed, you stay in control. Think of this as your new cruise toolkit, one that keeps you sailing confidently, safely, and without surprise costs. The travelers who adapt fastest to these 2026 changes will save hundreds, avoid stress, and still enjoy the cruise lifestyle they love. So do this next. If this video helped you, hit like right now. It tells YouTube that more senior travelers deserve to see this information. Subscribe if you want the next update before